What is he being arrested for? Yeah, he's being
very eloquent about it.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that he's...
What are the charges?
This is not an arrest that is legal. You are arresting this person for being on public property. This is completely illegal.
Hey, what are you arresting this guy for?
I'm being arrested for fucking mischief. It's a joke.
On the grass?
Yeah, sitting on the grass.
So, how many are you going to arrest before we actually do anything?
I wasn't aware that attending a protest was worthy of a charge. On the other hand, I wasn't aware that Canada supported repression by police either. Apparently they do though.
Can the police identify what they are doing and why you're doing what you're doing? Today is the second most important day in my life. The first was the day I was born, and this is the day I live. Today I'm alive, and I'm really enthusiastic about the challenge that we have to do something positive we can live with into eternity, because to me it is eternity. We have an eternal creation, and we're just a part of it. And forever long this part is, I'd like to be in something that was really doing something that I could agree with. We're protesting the monetary dictatorship and tyranny of the banks over people's lives. Not just the banks, it's materialism, it's capitalism, it's greed, it's profit at any cost, it's consume and produce, and the whole crazy scenario.
I'm sick and tired of all the inaction. At least I'm not gonna sit around and be an observer. So I believe change can happen. I believe in the power of one, and then with one power of one meets another power of one, then you have power of two. And then sometimes you can go to three, then suddenly that's very powerful. Then 4 and 5. It's like a couple of sticks together, you can break them. 5 sticks together, you can't break them. The strength and unity.
I can't believe that I'm in a country that espouses freedom, and I'm afraid to speak. I've never been afraid to speak before, and I'm afraid that I'm going to be arrested for speaking about what I believe. And I'm afraid to say what I think that is, because I believe that there are representatives of that corporate agenda behind me ready to arrest me for speaking out about what I believe that corporate agenda is.
Tell us about the state that arrests people for sitting in a park quietly. Tell us about the state of that state.
I don't know as much about that state as I know about the businesses that they represent, but I know that I'm feeling
Shame!
Shame!
What's her crime?
What's the crime of talking in a park?
The banks in this province have all the power. And they have the power to do this. This is the banks. The police in this instance are acting as agents of the banks, of the banking institutions. And you have a right to protest that.
Yay!
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Corporate cops go home! 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 Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Corporate cops have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Corporate cops have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho!
Jonathan,
Corporate cops have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Corporate cops have got to go! Hey, hey!
want to see a change. I believe that change is possible, and I think, thank God, we're a part of something else, and we're not a part of that. We are a difference, though it's hard to tell the difference because it appears like we're doing just the same crazy thing, driving down the road, the vehicle, talking about the pollution. Meanwhile, we're still just the same part of it, but we're exposing it. We are given an honest report. We're doing our best to show what is happening today, 1995, June the 9th, in Victoria, BC. What people have got to relate to is that we got to get going in the right direction. All progress must be related to in terms of achieving the divine goal, which can only be like a global consciousness and a collective reasoning that sees everybody as part of the same picture. Stop the division. Where are we going? We got it all. We just can't have it. So what is that? We're looking at it, we see it, we got everything we need. We just can't use it. It's not accessible. Everything's got a lock on it.
We were contacted by the provincial government who are the managers of this property, advising us that individuals had set up camp today. We met with those provincial officials. They've asked us that they would like to have those people removed.
So what's going on here?
Yeah, we'll let Ms. Bell. One more time, Ms. Bell.
Hey everybody, my name is Suzanne Bell. I represent the province of BC. This is private property. You may not camp here. I'm asking you to please dismantle your camp, take your personal belongings and move elsewhere. If you choose not to do that, the police will be clearing you out. Please take all your personal belongings and go.
What more are they doing this by?
We are not going to get in that argument. We will give you the opportunity.
Are you charging us with anything?
Civil rights before property rights.
But you've heard what she has to say.
Civil rights
you can
before
take
property rights.
your own clothing and sleeping bags. This is your last opportunity, and then we're going to move from there.
How much time do we have?
Can I ask you, private land owned by who?
Jamie, go ahead and start.
We don't know.
Jamie?
Lars,
Who's the owner of this tent right here?
going to have to explain to our
We all own
here
it.
and our
We've already done that.
We've already done that. Yeah, we're gonna go one at a time. Who's the owner of this tent right here?
We all own it. It was gifted to all of us.
It was donated so people could sleep more comfortably.
Does anyone claiming ownership for this tent right
We all
here?
claim
Who is the owner of this
We
tent?
all claim it.
We all do. We all do. Get your hands off it, please.
Not if someone hasn't identified it.
We all claim it. We've all identified it.
We have all identified
We all identify it.
Sarge, we have some break
What is wrong with breaking?
Can we get this in a
Tell us
Your
what's
tent?
wrong.
Okay.
Could you excuse me, please? Thank you very much. Thanks. Sorry.
Mr. Shabib, you can stand right outside. If you get close, you will be arrested for obstruction. You understand what I just said to you?
No problem.
Are you sure you understand what I just said to you?
Yes.
Perfect. That's where you will stay.
Yep, thank you.
One of the things that we've done with this situation and with the situation on the lawn of the legislature, which we were criticized extensively for being so measured and gentle in our approach, is that we've encouraged cameras to be at these events when they take place, so there's no misunderstanding about what's happening.
Are you sure you understand what I just said to you?
Yes.
Perfect. That's where you will stay.
Yep, thank you.
Why do you take all the things that we ever get? Constantly get. We have nothing. Sitting on us. Wrong. You guys do it wrong. Say it's wrong.
You have no authority here.
Patience is beautiful. Patience is beautiful. Patience is beautiful.
All we want is to know where we can be. Let us be in peace. We did nothing
Patience be with us all.
Shame on all of you. Shame on you. What did you do in rebellion? because they want more. Shame on you. Shame on your families. Shame on your grandmothers for not teaching you well. Not fair. You discriminate against people who have nothing. You have nowhere to go. Wrong. Everyone knows it's wrong. Say it's wrong. Help us.
The manager in charge of this property attended, asked us to have these people removed. She took the appropriate measures to ask them to move. She, even out of the goodness of her heart, said, hey, listen guys, if you take down your tents and you want to enjoy the park, by all means do so. But if you remain camping, we're going to have to ask you to leave.
What's going on? No way.
Oh, that's shit.
Oh, come on.
Oh my God, you're joking. You're joking.
Why is this happening over and over and over again?
Well, if I could answer that question, I'd be a millionaire, I think.
You still got your house there.
I've got my dream house. Featured on page 42. Page 42. Beautiful.
How did you manage to hang on to this?
Well, you know what? When you got something like this, it just exudes money, and they're just scared of it. They know that I can get the finest justice money can buy.
Yeah.
You go into financial market, eh?
I mean, I subscribe to Dream House. I live in a dream house. Obviously, they're not going to touch me. Moving on up.
We are coming, Union hearts be strong. Side by side, we battle onward. Victory will come.
Hi, David.
Hi, Alan.
How are you?
Good.
Really?
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Hi, how are you?
I think you are smart.
That's okay. But you know, it's one of these things.
Solutions that we might be able to take?
I tried yesterday. I talked to Ron, and I tried to see whether or not they had any room outside the security gates at D&D around there. But unfortunately, they don't have anything. So you know.
Do you have any ideas of how we can stay together as a group? You don't have any ideas?
Because, you know, I understand that there's lots of shelters here, but a lot of us don't feel comfortable.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
It's very dangerous.
I'd like to say something. I talked to Captain and Mark from the YMCA youth shelter, and the youth shelter has been over its capacity for the last since we've left. So I mean, there's obviously.
Were you guys there before?
Yes.
Yeah, we slept there before.
Some of us, and at the cathedral. We've been kicked out of the cathedral.
I am not going to be opening the city for the rest of the homeless to come here because it's not my problem.
Mayor, though, you didn't actually say that you're worried about solving this problem for fear that more people would end up here on the streets of Victoria.
No, what I said was if it's seen as though we're welcoming and trying to deal with the situation where it's there's a problem all over this country, you know. Then what would happen is everybody may flock to Victoria, and we would have to be the ones dealing with this entire situation. It's a federal government, provincial government issue. Because Victoria has the climate that we do, unfortunately, we deal with a lot of these problems in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm. But how do you deal with these problems?
But you're not. So are you saying if you solve it, you're going to get a bigger problem?
No, we're not trying to. We're not trying
I
to.
went out to fight for my country. I went out to bleed and to die. I thought that my country would help me, but this was my country's reply. Soup, soup, they gave me a bowl of soup. Soup, soup, they gave me a bowl of soup.
We always get handed the short end of the stick because it's a social problem and.
Oh, you got the short end of the stick. We're the ones who
No, but you know what I mean. Like we're the bad guys here because we've got to move you along. We recognize that it doesn't solve it.
Right. Well, most of you seem to, but you know, they brought up some of the knuckle draggers today.
Yeah. Well, the knuckle draggers will come back tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
Yeah, it's not expected.
You know, like I'd like to be able to click my fingers and create low-income housing and all that sort of
Well,
whatever you guys need to
We
survive.
tried to get out of sight, you know.
Well, somebody's phoned in. We're aware of it.
Okay.
I'm the guy in charge tonight, and I'm choosing not to do anything about
What do
right
you
now
think would
because
be
I
a good
got
time
other
for us
things.
to wake up and
I'll
have
give
bacon
you.
and eggs?
Clark Russell.
Yeah,
So, you have to know that come the morning, day shift may come around and choose to seize all your belongings and maybe give out tickets and so on and so forth. You
It
guys need
shouldn't
to...
take us that long to pick up and go.
Well, day shift starts at 7.
Okay.
So you got two choices. You could stay here and make a stand and maybe end up with no possessions, right?
Can they take our possessions?
Yeah,
if we're on a
they can seize your chattels. Right? So I know it's
How much is the fine depending on how much stuff you have?
$50 fine. $50 fine. 85 something.
It's like
yeah. But you guys, like, I don't even have $85 on me. That's a big hit, right?
First day I got here, they took everything I owned.
Really, eh?
I came with 2 knapsacks, 180-pound knapsack and an 80-pound knapsack. Got here, sat down, and they fucking took a legal petition, my ID, everything I owned.
And that's because it was on the sidewalk, apparently? Yeah. So they just pretty much expect you guys to walk around with like 200 pounds worth of stuff.
Yeah, and they don't bother to tell you.
Yeah.
Fuck, I came here, I had no idea that that bylaw existed.
There's a shelter up the road, and I've been able to benefit a lot from their services. They're lacking in services, and so I know there's a lot of elderly women that are homeless, and they can't handle being sleeping outside. And I'd rather give up my bed for them. And when you give up a bed in the shelter, you have to wait your turn to get a bed again. And then when there's cold, wet weather like this, then there's more demand for beds. So I let myself to be outside because I know there's people that struggle harder than I do.
Where do you sleep?
Anywhere I can. Police say there's no camping in Victoria, so we gotta be careful. They say if they catch you, they'll throw all your stuff out in the garbage.
I break the law every single time I close my eyes and go into unconsciousness. Apparently, if I don't allow someone else to pay for my sleep, and if I don't pay for my sleep, I break the law. Not allowed to sleep on private property, trespassing. Not allowed to sleep on public property, trespassing. Not allowed to sleep on crown land, I have to hide myself. As if I sleep out in the open, then I will be told to move. And if I don't move, if I simply explain to them that I'm just, doing what everyone else needs to do, sleeping, then they will forcibly remove me and imprison me and therefore pay for my sleep behind bars, so to speak.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm a deputy sheriff for the province of British Columbia, and I'm authorized by the owner of the property, which is the province of British Columbia, to advise you all that this is private property and you do not have the consent of the owner of the property to camp here. Therefore, I must ask you all to pack up all camping equipment and vacate the property of any camping equipment. All of your materials must be removed from the property because you do not have the consent to store materials here either. Does everybody understand what I've just said? Okay, thank you. The owner is the province of British Columbia, and I've been authorized on behalf of the province to advise you that this is private property. You do not have the consent to remain here as campers. Okay? Okay. Thank you very much.
Question? Wouldn't
Certainly
it have
ask.
been appropriate to approach the owner and ask for permission? Is there a process to know how to do that? To go about things in the right
property is
way?
owned by the province, and I've been authorized on behalf of the property owner to advise you that you do not have the consent to camp on this property.
I understand what you're
Therefore, again, you guys all must remove yourselves from this property, okay?
I understand
Thank you very much.
Can you explain how it is that if this is owned by the province, that it's private?
Any of the officers tell me where we can go?
Anybody who holds title on a piece of property is the property owner, makes it private property.
Can we apply and put our
Whether
names
it's
on it?
yourself,
property, which is held by the
considered
province,
private
is
property.
considered private property?
In
There's
this,
no-
I'm talking about right here, right now.
Are you a lawyer?
So it's different for every piece of provincial land? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm telling you about right here, right now.
We're trying to understand this law.
I'm telling you about right here, right now.
Where can we go so that we legally don't break the law then? Being homeless with property.
You know what?
That's a responsibility of yours.
Yeah, we have to figure
But I'm
out.
asking you where we can go that won't break the law.
But you guys are enforcing
Where you can't go.
You guys are inhibiting our ability to even care for ourselves and care for one another.
I don't have answers for you.
So because you don't have an answer and nobody has an answer, all of these people don't have anywhere to go tonight. This city doesn't give them anywhere to go, and it takes away their ability to do it for themselves and to do it for each other.
And I know you can't. I appreciate your honesty. You can't.
Hello, sir. You come on the right time. How are you? Well, so far so good.
Oh, looks like
now we got all those
How are you?
ladies and gentlemen here. Did you ever met Mr. Johnston?
No, I do
No.
not. David. Ari, nice to meet you.
Mr. Johnston, it's quite a long story. It went last year, the whole summer, basically, right?
In started in 94. This
94.
January 94.
Yeah, I'm not,
or not 94, 04, sorry.
I'm not always here.
2004.
You're trying to make a statement, right? That this should be...
He tried to make a statement that the homeless people got a legal right to settle down and sleep on public property. That's actually what it really is.
Essentially. And,
Yeah.
and it's stemmed to be much more than that with the Crown's response.
Okay, but what we have to do, and he knows it, I told him, is, I mean, we talked to him before. We got no choice, we have to call the police.
Yeah.
There's nothing else I know to do.
No, that's just our job. That's
Yeah.
nothing else we can do about that.
Well, we follow our inspirations.
Happy.
I wonder if that fellow knows what a paladin is.
What is?
That he's paladin security.
What's a paladin?
Paladin is essentially, I think, a righteous knight of God, sort of. Always does right.
So, guys, the cops will be here in full force. They must at the last resort to show up here.
Yeah.
So they're going to show up pretty soon, eh?
Well, that's a different question. I cannot tell you that. Sometimes they come right away, sometimes they take forever. I'll never know.
I have a funny feeling they'll get this one out of the way pretty fast.
Well, they know who you got. Yeah, thank you. They know who you are.
Yeah.
They know the
of course.
entourage.
I mean, you're on record with those guys.
Distinguished guests, will you please be upstanding for our honoured guest, the Minister of Advanced Education, Honourable Ida Chung.
What do you think about like just sleeping outside, like people having some legal right to sleep outside?
Well, again, that is something that would have to be determined by the authorities. That is something, as you can appreciate, that the cities have bylaws that they're empowered to put in place, and they will want to hear from their citizenry as to how to address that, how to deal with that.
I trust that there will be a judge or will be an edict of some sort saying that don't bother calling the police anymore if you see someone sleeping under a tree in a park, sleeping anywhere, out of the way, in public access. It's sleeping, and this insane property value spite bullshit is not justifiable.
It's private property.
This is private property?
No, it's a government property. This is Ministry of...
After hours, it's private property. Off you go.
Can I talk to the owner?
No, this person is a representative of the owner. He's security, and he's asking you guys to leave the property, so off you go.
Where can I talk to the owner?
Tomorrow during the day, you can talk to the owner.
What's
Off
the
you go.
name of the owner? Can I...
You can come and ask tomorrow. Off you go, off the property.
Yeah, good argument. You have a wormhole.
Do I have a wormhole? Yes, I'd rather be there than here right now. So
that's good.
There's lots of shelters and places like that. You know that in Victoria. Off you go.
Okay, thank you. Don't know how
they punish me to the full extent of the law because I'm very guilty.
This is David Johnston outside Victoria's courthouse this morning addressing supporters. The 32-year-old homeless man was in court today for breaching a probation order that forbid him from sleeping on the steps of St. Anne's Academy. Johnston is on a crusade, fighting for his right to sleep outdoors.
I guess you have a right to sleep. I guess the question is, do you have a right to sleep anywhere you choose to sleep?
Well, but is there any choice? What if you have no choice? As in, when the shelters are full and you don't have anywhere to live, I mean, you have to sleep outside somewhere.
It's a bit of a dilemma, isn't it?
Yeah, where do I sleep? Nowhere. That's the answer I've gotten so far. Police, MLA, wherever I've gone. So sorry, can't help you.
What's been your experience? Like you've been sleeping outside?
Yeah. Done a lot of
illegally?
sleeping. Is there any other way? Without money? Yeah. I've been kicked out of parks a few times. Lots of wake-ups. Usually the police or guards will say, sorry, I hate to do this, but it's my job. Somebody, got to make a buck. And that's generally people's excuse. Got to make a buck.
What is your respect for the law that treats you like this?
I can't follow it, and I can't not sleep.
It's one of the most natural things that humans do, and yet the government is taking that ability away from a lot of people by saying, no, you can't sleep outside, and pretty much hassling anybody who does.
Can I see your lawyer's degree?
I'm a concerned citizen and I'm bearing witness.
Perfect. Well, bear witness. Keep it going. Keep walking. Let's go.
I'm walking. I'm talking to you.
Well, walk and talk at the same time. Let's go.
Why don't you let us stay here? Why don't you talk with
Because
us?
the people that own the place don't want you here.
The people that own the place, sir, is the government of British Columbia.
Excuse me, are you a witness or are you a protestant?
I'm just explaining that the people who own this building are the government of this province.
Apparently you've got more interest than just being a witness.
I'm a
Keep
concerned
moving.
citizen of British Columbia, and I'm informing the audience that this government is owned by the citizens of British Columbia, which we are of. Sir.
Perfect.
Thank you.
How many times have they arrested you?
I've been in cells 20 times in a 2-month period. That's just in cell and released in the morning. I spent 6 days in jail right at the beginning.
So what happened? You're 15 years old, you're on the street?
I'm on the street, I'm scared as hell, I don't know anybody. And then I got into drugs and everything like that, just so I could fit in. Well, first it was just a social thing, and then I got addicted to them. And then I managed to get out of that, and then just sustain myself. I slept down by the Bay Street Bridge. There's a little cluster of trees. We managed to sleep there for 3 months until some bylaw officers came and kicked us out. Said we couldn't sleep there anymore.
How old were you then?
I was about 16 then.
Were they concerned about you at all? Or?
They didn't seem to be. We're like, well, we got nowhere else to go. Everywhere else that we go, we get waked up and hassled and everything. And they're like, well, that's not our problem. This is public property. You cannot be sleeping here.
They do tell you you have to hide. We don't care where you sleep as long as we don't see you. Out of sight, out of mind.
Where's a good place to hide?
A good place to hide? It really doesn't feel good to hide when you're sleeping, but there are places, there are some rooftops, you can stay hidden. Of course, bushes, it depends what equipment you have. Tents are generally spotted and taken down very quickly.
So we have like a small segment of society which are criminalized because they're homeless.
Yeah.
How bad would you say that problem is?
it's becoming a worse problem because I think it's partially there are rules and regulations that don't fit with their lifestyle, and partially because they don't believe that their life fits in with here, or the shelters are full. I don't think all of the shelters are full all of the time, but you'd be amazed sometimes at their timing. They come in and it's full. I've had the same guy come in, say 3 days in a row, and I'm still full. I'm still full. I'm not sure what else to tell you, sir. So he feels he may not ever come back again because he felt that was his one-time answer, and now he's been shut out by the community.
I'm scared to sleep at the shelters. I mean, I slept at StreetLink one night, and the person next to me was doing drugs and sticking needles in her arm. I mean, who the hell wants to have that around them?
As we reminisce about the days of old, believing in those tall tales in which we are told, these ideals seem lost since our fear to give. And while we live off of this fat of the land, we can't seem to really understand that we're killing this life in which we need to live. We look over our shoulders when we utter the word freedom, for we're meant to do as we're told while we live within this kingdom, to be seen and not heard, and especially not question why. Well, I do, you see. And now I look upon this life, noticing others troubled, tormented with strife, yet choose to wear these blinders with bliss as they pass on by. Now, certain rhymes like this, I just go out and tell them to the street in public, and...
You guys done shooting?
No, we're still shooting right now, thank you.
I'm just wondering if you have authorization to shoot on our property.
Well, I thought that since we're all products of God, and all children of God, we can actually share this beautiful place.
I'm not here to philosophize, sir. I'm just here to
Well, I'm just wondering if you're representing the church.
I work for the church.
And so the church is telling us that we're not allowed to be here. This church that, goes with the Word of God. So in essence...
And I'm not here to philosophize.
No, I'm just deciphering. I'm just wondering why we're not allowed to be here.
Well, because it's policy. I don't know why.
God's policy? Sir?
I'm not asking a debate.
I'm not here to debate. I'm just questioning. Is it God's policy?
Questioning is debate.
I think he has a very good point, actually.
I understand the point, but it's not valid.
How do we get God's authorization? Frankly.
I have no idea.
Simply being would be a great authorization, wouldn't it?
Perhaps.
So us being
you're
would grant us a greatness to be in this park, wouldn't it?
Wrap it up and move on.
Interesting. Now I wonder why Catholicism or Christianity is faltering, because it's not actually for the people now, is it? It's for those who actually have the wealth. Hence, we don't live in a democracy, we actually live in a plutocracy, ruled by the wealthy. Well, I guess that should be a wrap for now. Good lesson to be learned. I don't know.
Well, move on.
Who do we ask permission to, authorization to actually film?
If you want to ask permission, you can go to the church office and ask permission.
You feel like it, or?
But you will not get permission today.
Why not?
Because I will tell them not to give you permission. It's a lot easier just to abide.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Conformation means that you become weaker.
Right. Well,
It's
you're
true.
obviously a high conformist. I can see it already.
High conformist.
Yes, indeed.
I think you need to look up the word, honestly. A dictionary is a good thing, especially an etymological dictionary.
Keep going.
Look up
sir.
the word plutocracy.
Keep going.
So it's really strange that the people do get upset by guys. It's simply, but I guess it is the other people that come with them.
Well, I don't know.
David.
Like I said, and I never really had any problem with the people that he came.
And you were a commissioner there?
I was a commissioner there for the summer of 2003. I wrote to the Sisters of St. Anne. I wrote to the mayor. I wrote to various council members. I actually had Charlene Thornton-Joe phone me, and we talked about David for half an hour one Saturday evening.
What did your letter say? What were you asking?
She wanted to know. She wanted information because I told her what had happened with David and how non-violent he was, and how non-confrontational he was, and she just wanted to have a better understanding of where David was coming from.
First and foremost, they were not giving me due process. There were 6 times where I was driven out of city limits, not more than an hour's walk away. Well, hour and a half one time, that was nice. And then there was 20 nights where the province of British Columbia hired a security guard with the express purpose of not letting me sleep.
Like they actually did terrorize you. Like they broke lots of laws.
Yes, they did.
In trying to-
Well, there was 2 security firms, the Royal Victoria and Central Victoria. Central Victoria were the ones that were hired to keep me up.
Central Victoria.
Yeah.
I think I got their name down.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and talk to somebody there.
I've just been informed that, it's the Capital Commission's thing. It'd be like yourself, sir, if I did work for you. Okay? And somebody else wanted information on it, you wouldn't want somebody else talking about it?
No, but I just want to know what.
There you go, sir.
I just want to know what is legal for a guard, a security guard, to do. That's what my questions are quite. It doesn't specifically have to do with this case. It could be any case.
You're asking me on David Johnson, sir, and I don't have anything to say or comment on it.
I know, but.
Okay.
No, it's not okay. Who runs your company?
Thanks for your time, sir.
Excuse me? Hello? Nothing to say. He's scared. He's definitely like they're hiding. These guys, they know they did something they shouldn't have done there. They didn't expect a homeless guy to have anybody ever stand up for him, and the police are in the same position. They've been dealing with people who are helpless, and they've been getting away with murder.
We're on tomorrow night, and if you guys try and come back, we're not gonna give you we're gonna hit you early. And I don't mean to use the word hit in a physical way, but we're gonna move earlier before it gets busy.
Yeah, you have to
Right?
justify what you're doing.
How many people are here? Just what we see here? There's 6 or 7.
Well, there's more coming. Everybody got scattered.
Give us a
when
month
they,
of just sitting down. And
You're reforming.
Yeah, see the people that lost all their stuff. Well, you had a month. One of them did. She just got out and was trying to straighten.
I know, and it
straighten
didn't
things
happen.
up.
But it's going to happen again, right? Like we're going
we don't see anything like that
to, we
either.
the police
And
during
we
the day
do
are
want
going to come in
to-
here, and if you're
we don't
here,
want to make it happen.
it all depends on how reasonable they are.
Yeah, but
They might
that-
give you 20 minutes to clear out. They might not.
Well, usually, most of them do, but some of them take joy in like.
Well, I don't know. They take joy, but we all have different levels of tolerance, right?
Well, yes, this is not really. Yeah, it's
Okay. So you guys need to know. You've been warned. If you're here when the sun comes up, you may end up walking out of here with a lot less than you walked in with.
I got here in November 2000, and up until the end of 2003, it was getting pretty regular. You'd get woken up like you're being specifically looked for in the park. Yeah, there was one point where they have it's a fertilizer of some sort, a ground up fish or something, but undiluted. It's like absolutely toxic and just gross smelling, like a chicken barn times 1,000. It's like just the smell of spite. Yeah, it was spread where the sleeping spot was. And so there was a blizzard in the winter of 2003. The shelters that exist now did open their doors in an emergency fashion. They took turns. They were open for a week or 2 weeks, something like that. Though I knew it wasn't enough. And so it occurred to me that giving me a tent, I started this whole campaign, essentially, suggesting that that's it. They can kill me if they want, but I have the right to sleep. And so I went to St. Anne's Academy. And so the first night there was a bunch of people that were ousted from outside of the Street Link emergency shelter. There was a bunch of people sleeping outside. And so they came, like a lot of them came to St. Anne's.
You can't? No. You can't do? No. Okay. Okay, I will call police.
Yes.
Okay? Do you understand or not?
Very much so.
Namaste. Can you?
Yes, we understand very much so. It's
You will
not personal.
You will not move from here.
No. We have no other place to go.
There is a.
No.
The police came, there were a bunch of people there, they called the property owners, they said, okay, give them one night, but they have to be out of there tomorrow.
This morning, St. Anne's property owners asked police for help in clearing the squatters out. Police helped property managers clear out tents, tarps, and sleeping bags from the area.
Camping's not permitted on the grounds here. So they called us and asked us for assistance. Well, they remove the property from here.
Victoria's homeless are running out of options. Extra beds opened at the StreetLink shelter have been closed until January 21st due to staffing shortages. A fence is going up to keep people from returning to the Sleep on the Thorough Way, where nearly 40 homeless people have been staying since the late fall.
After that day, I stayed maybe a week and a half before the first arrest happened.
Okay, so they're inside there.
They're
and they
inside
call you
there.
guys?
They're not allowed. No, we just do specifically for this issue.
So you own this here?
Yes, I do.
You bet. Thanks, you guys.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, some people on the property that shouldn't have been there.
So you think they're just going to release them?
Well, that's right. That's what the one guy said.
Yeah.
He just said, your friend won't be in very long. We're just going to take him down to the station, talk him out, or check him out. So, depends on what they want to do, because like he's been here before and arrested. Like he was arrested at a different tree, just down a bit. But so it depends what they're up to. But as far as I know, he has been nothing but kind to them. So.
It's a cold night.
Yeah, it's okay. I was like toasty warm until the security guard woke me up.
Yeah. Was just you and him there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So where are you going? Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah, just over there.
On the other side of St. Anne's.
I don't know why I picked St. Anne's. Probably because it's quite nice. It's, as far as anybody's concerned, it's public property. It's private officially, but like, there's nobody living there. It's an orchard. It's free. People go back and forth through there. There's nothing to really. There's no reason to defend it against people sleeping there.
I mean, I think there's a lot of other ways to address the issue of homelessness. I don't think what he's doing is necessarily doing it. It seems to me that he's just very, very, very stubborn, and that's the bottom line. I mean, he could be going about it in a lot of other ways. I mean, he could go and be sleeping at Centennial Square, where the City Hall is located. He could go sleep on the doorsteps. He could go sleep at the Parliament buildings. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, sure. I mean, St. Anne's is just as a good and central location as any other, but, if you wanted to, there are other ways for him to get his point across. What's your take on it?
Well, I believe that he's right. I think that he's very brilliant. I think he's like a prophet of our time. And I think he's quite rare in that he has a unique understanding about a new way of living, and he actually is walking his talk. He's living kind of with nothing, and even the little bit that he does have is taken away from him quite often by the police and security guards, and so I think he's being unnecessarily harassed and not given credit for doing something that is for the general good of everybody.
You're all supposed to be good little Christians and good little this and that, and the reality is all we've got to do is we show our love to other people through service to them, and that happens to be the working poor, and that happens to be people who are sleeping on sidewalks, and I mean, what harm are they doing?
All we want is a safe place that we belong. And they don't want to give it to us. Because why? We're homeless? Because we're poor? Because some people have drug addiction issues? Well, I'm sorry, but since I've been here, I haven't needed to use drugs because I had a safe place where I could go to sleep. I didn't have to stay up all night and guard my stuff because somebody was going to farm it from me. I had a safe place that I belonged.
What responsibility, though, is it for the law to actually rule on that defense of necessity and not prosecute people who are simply trying to sleep?
Well, what you're doing, of course, is you're addressing the immediate servants of the powerful. These are the employees of the powerful, and they're doing what they're told to do. But that doesn't mean that it's morally right or legally right. But always when we want to solve this, you have to go to their masters, and that is the legislators, the MLAs, the MPs. They're the ones that have the obligation to solve this problem, and they're the ones that can solve the problem.
As a government, we are in fact trying to address that. Certainly it's something that might have been something that should have been addressed years ago. But as a new government, our first term, we absolutely believe that we can raise awareness, we can find ways to deal with that.
Yeah, and so 4 nights of clapping hands above my head, stomping feet, playing a little stereo, shining a light in my eyes, saying things like, "Don't be falling asleep on me, Mr. Johnston," or "If you just hit one of us, Mr. Johnston, you would expedite the process." I've, of course, forgave them and said good morning when they left in the morning.
I was there every morning for at least 2 or 3 hours with him.
Yeah.
During the night, when they started this arresting business, they had other guards here, and they would take him off the property when the police came and put him in the cruiser with the police.
Right. But what he said that there was a guard specifically hired to keep him awake at night.
That was earlier in the game, okay? They had Central Security was doing that. They were hired especially by Provincial Capital Commission.
That was Central Community? Central Security?
Central Security.
So you had to hire somebody
We didn't hire, Provincial Capital Commission did.
under Chris.
Nothing to do with it.
Was it under Chris Anderson? Yeah.
Well, and her bosses and whoever, you know.
And so they were unsuccessful. Like they weren't able to.
Well, you can't touch him
Yeah.
because that would be abuse or assault. And we'd be arrested.
He said two guards did carry him.
Yeah, because they were under orders from the Provincial Capital Commission to take him off-site bodily if necessary.
How can they have crosses? What is it? What is this supposed to mean? Was Christ's message not compassion? And what does it become now? What is it? The military has taken over? Ministry of Advanced Education? Come on, let's graduate to something.
Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh yes! Honourable Chong, for your timeless commitment to charities here on Vancouver Island, it has been decreed by the Rotarians that you should be awarded the highest honour in Rotary, a Paul Harris Fellowship, named after our founder. In the words of Rotary's motto, service above self, we ask you to please accept this award on behalf of all British Columbia Rotarians. God bless Canada and God save our Queen.
You know, we recognize that there is a homelessness issue, and our government has, in this province, are trying to address that by the Premier having struck a homelessness task force where mayors from a number of the cities where homelessness appears to be becoming a greater concern, so bringing them together and trying to address this. In our recent budget, we've just added some more dollars toward that. We're working with the federal government as well.
It doesn't cost anything to not kick a sleeping guy. And it doesn't cost anything to have a kitchen that has the loving support of the community. And then the Garden of Eden sprouts from those seeds.
On the south side of St. Anne's Academy was the location of the juniors' playground. And in the early days, the original location of the Sisters Cemetery near the steps to this area. From the kitchen area below the chapel, the sisters operated a soup kitchen for the poor. Interesting. They had heart at one time. Why did they lose it? What's happened? Why have things changed? Why are we no longer now not looking after the poor? The poor have become a victim of the times. Who was St. Anne?
St. Anne was the mother of the Virgin Mary. She's Jesus' grandma.
Really? Oh, that's
Anne and St. Joachim were the parents of Mary, and that made them grandparents of Jesus.
And you're a sister.
I'm a sister of St. Anne.
How long have you been a sister?
Oh, let me see, 1949. What does that make me? About 55 years, or?
Wow.
Yeah, that's about it.
Did you ever live at St. Anne's Academy?
Yes, I did. We had all made our novitiate over there when we first entered.
Mm-hmm. I'm just curious that I would think that the sisters would take a position on the fact that a homeless person...
Not our property anymore. It's public property. It's been sold to the government, and it's the Department of Education, and they've kept the chapel, which was the first Catholic cathedral in British Columbia, as a heritage part.
So, and even, you don't think that you could be influential by giving an opinion?
I'm not commenting on that. We
No.
have nothing to do with the policies on that land. It belongs to the government and the Provincial Capital Commission.
So you don't fear anything? Going to jail?
Oh, no.
Well, how was jail?
It was the same as here. It's just more life, the experience.
If your evidence comes before the court on this charge as a result of violations of basic human rights, then Section 7 of the Charter says that you can't have a criminal proceeding unless it's done out of basic fairness, and that violation of those basic human rights makes this procedure violate Section 7.
So it doesn't make any sense. We have policies that are forcing people into the streets because they can't afford accommodation anymore, and at the same time, we're criminalizing them. Those two things don't go hand in hand.
Just pop here. Okay.
For the law to actually criminalize somebody and put them in jail for simply sleeping.
They shouldn't do that. It's morally wrong and probably legally wrong.
They didn't have to have him arrested. They could have allowed him to sleep peacefully.
No, because he was scaring people here.
Who was he scaring?
The employees when they were coming into work.
But you would wake him up in the morning.
Call up and say, hey, there's a guy sleeping out there. Get rid of him.
They were
It's
threatened.
not only him, it's anybody that sleeps out here. We had one last week. He left all his stuff.
But why do you find that threatening? Why?
I don't find it threatening. The girls do.
Well, I don't know about that. Like, I don't know who exactly. I mean, I really wouldn't mind talking to somebody that felt threatened or was threatened by his presence here.
Exactly who they are.
Did anybody ever make a formal complaint about him sleeping here?
They've called Dave in the morning and say, or they'd call me and they'd say, get rid of this guy. We don't need him or we don't want him around here.
But who would do that? The PCC would do that.
Coming into work. I don't know who they are. This has all happened in the last year, as you say. I had to sit out and hold his hand to make sure that nobody got scared.
And so you would do that. How long did you do that for? Like you were
For 4 or 5 months.
You would go out there and sit with him in the morning.
Well, till he woke up and left, yes, because they were scared that you know, girls would look out their office window and they'd see this body lying out on the thing, and they'd get scared. So it was agreed that somebody should stay with him. Yes, ma'am.
Here, take it now. Thank you. See you shortly.
You must have got to know him.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
I'm not finished. Meanwhile, while I'm sitting out there making sure he doesn't bother people, I'm supposed to be here doing exactly what I did with that lady there, accepting people that had to put somebody else in here.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what they paid me for, to sit out there and keep them quiet or whatever.
You must have got to know him quite well.
No, I didn't. I didn't want to.
Did you ever listen to what he said? Did he ever
He
talk
never
with
said
you?
very much. He'd just say, you know, good morning or something like that, or have a good day, and then he'd leave.
And so what did you do? You just
Friendly
sat there with him?
relationship between us.
You didn't.
He knew what I was there for, and I knew that there's nothing we could do.
So he would be sleeping, and you would just go out and sit with him? What did you have, a chair or something you'd sit on, or
There's
what?
benches out in the gazebo there.
And you were told to do that? Like somebody told you to go out there?
Told me my boss here, and the company I work for told me to do that.
Did you find him to ever be a problem with you? Was he ever hostile with you?
Not really, except that he would, you know, you'd say, ask him if he, you know, please leave or something. He'd say, I forgive you. And then he'd just sit there. Then, or else he'd start playing his little flute, you know, just ignoring us completely. So that's the only relation I had with him.
No,
What the others had, I don't know. Like the girl that worked in the afternoon, she wouldn't even talk to him. She'd say, don't you talk to me, shut your mouth and get out of here. And that was it. And yet, it's come along now that he's been harassed. Who was harassing him? I don't know.
When they took you in the police car, where would they drive you to?
Town country.
Okay. So what did they say to you, or why did they take you there?
I don't know, because they don't have right to arrest you.
But they have the right to drive you?
No, they don't have the right. It's illegal too. That's why they never put charge anywhere. Because they cannot process anything like that.
So what do they say? Do they say don't come back to St. Anne's, or?
They didn't say nothing. The cops can do nothing because you need to stay dry. Then it's pouring rain and there's no place to go. Everything is closed.
So what would you do when they drove you?
Walk back down.
Walk back here?
Find a place to stay dry.
I'm calling about David Arthur Johnson.
Okay.
And some of the issues that he's raised.
Yeah.
What he mentioned was that he's been arrested like 21 times. And 6 of those times he's been taken to the outskirts of the city and dropped off.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch, and no, we don't do that here. If he gets arrested, he's arrested, and he's brought into cells. We're not in the habit of taking people to the outskirts of town and saying, no, don't come back.
Right.
Not the way we do things.
But what if police did that, though?
Well, it's not right. We wouldn't do it.
Well, what if they did it, though?
They'd have to prove it. We did it, and I'm sure that's not going to be the case, so.
You live around here?
Oh, yeah.
And so you were aware of his stand and it didn't bother you? You didn't feel threatened?
I was proud of him. I didn't feel threatened by it at all, no.
You know it's going to take the people to rise up to make the judges
Oh.
pay attention enough to
Oh,
listen.
maybe not. Maybe this can be done overnight by a few people. And then suddenly everyone wakes up one morning and it's not illegal to sleep outside anymore.
Evening.
He's in jail and he's trying to force the judicial system to be just.
What's that mean, the Star, David?
Truth. The light of truth.
It's fun to harmonize with injustice so as to make it just.
What do you mean by right? Is there rights and wrongs?
Right and wrong are measured off of whatever goal you have. And so there's a general acceptance that right and wrong are measured off of love. So it becomes a responsibility of each person to determine what love is.
Excuse me, sir, can I see your ID, please? Could you get down? You're too old for this? What's going on, dude?
Survival. Survival is happening.
Hey, Dave, are you going to breach again tonight?
Yes, I presume so.
What do you say to people, they say, hey, this guy is sleeping at St. Anne's all the time. He's just causing trouble. I mean, what's your stand on this?
My stand on this is this would have been over in the beginning of 2004 if the Crown gave due process, if the Crown recognized me as someone who has rights, if the Crown knew how to presume innocence.
They're here.
Or are they here?
No, not the cops. You thought you were the police.
Maybe they are.
They actually are.
Oh.
Hi, Mr.
Hi.
Johnson.
Hello.
You're well aware you're breaching your conditions of probation?
Yes.
Okay. So right now you're under arrest for breaching your probation.
Come with us.
Do you have anything sharp in your pocket? Scissors, nail clippers?
You guys are not in uniform?
No, we're not.
How come you're not in uniform?
Some people are in uniform, some cars are plain clothes. No particular reason.
Got a lot of stuff in these pockets.
Uniform members right there.
Is there a possibility this guy could be right in what he's doing?
That's up for the courts to decide. Right now they've given him a probation not to be here. So
What if the courts are wrong?
that's something that will have to be decided by them.
Do you feel you have any decision in this?
All right.
So what's happening in there?
Oh, no. I mean, I testified, and its courtroom's full for sure. They asked me about homeless, where people would sleep. I told them 700 homeless on the survey, 700. I told them there are probably about 40 emergency beds between Street and McCann Salvage Army, so one's forced to sleep on the street. I mean, there's no choice in that.
This letter is to testify that we, the undersigned citizens of Canada, believe strongly in a person's right to sleep. If a human has the right to do anything on this earth, performing a body function necessary to life has to be one of those rights, and to believe otherwise is reproachable. Furthermore, to legally restrain someone from doing this is cruel and unusual, not to mention a violation of their inherent human rights.
I'm sure you guys must be awful tired
so
of people sleeping all over the city. And if you want to deny that there's people sleeping illegally all over the city, I'll call you a liar.
No, I know it's happening on a regular
basis.
basis.
Hundreds of people.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people.
If not more on a daily basis.
So why not give them a safe place to be instead of playing this little game of illegalities and denying people their basic rights, their charter rights.
I'm Mary Beth Burton at St. Anne's Academy. A group of more than 20 people have been spending their nights here since Friday. They say they're on their own safe piece of public property and they have nowhere else to go. That story later on 8 Channel News.
I'll just go over the situation. There's about 20 to 30 people down at St. Anne's, and some of them appear to be there at night, which is defined as camping under the bylaw. A couple of tents were up. The people were asked to take them down, and they took them down. So there's been no problem that way.
If nobody claims ownership for this tent, okay, it's going to be taken and seized.
It is
okay.
We're claiming ownership.
Well, then take it down now, or else she's going to start taking it down. Okay. You've explained to you. Okay. Start taking the tent down, or else she's going to seize it and it goes with her. Okay.
We haven't been informed of the law. We just got the rules. Can we at least read the laws before we take down our tent?
We've already explained everything that's explained to you already this morning. You know what the rules are. Okay. You know.
The dialogue has been very reasonable with everybody involved. Jim and Scott McGregor were down there earlier today, and the dialogue is normal. It's not strained or aggressive or anything like that.
What the laws are, stuff like that, okay?
And then I complied with what they said, which was to move by 6.
Yeah.
And I moved over there. Then they woke me up again, took down my information, woke up a bunch of other people sleeping in the park, told the people there to go to a hostel. There's tons of hostels that the people can go to.
You don't want to go to a hostel?
I don't want to spend $10 a night to sleep. That's what I don't want to do. And I don't think anyone, and I can't spend $10 a night to sleep, so.
And you need to sleep?
People, you could die from not sleeping. Like, we should put that down. You can actually, physically, you can break down. We need to sleep, and I don't want to sleep twice in a night. Like, I had to sleep and get woken up twice. So that's like 2 naps. I want one big sleep, you know?
If we seize their property, the process to try and get it back might take 2 or 3 days. And if you are homeless and you're outside, then you probably don't want to be without your sleeping bag.
A key point too is we're not seizing people's sleeping bags. We were asked that, that was yesterday. We don't seize homeless people's sleeping bags, but we won't.
How do you feel about what's going on here? Do you have any decision in this? Do you agree with what's happening? Are you allowed to speak? I think it's a problem we all should work on. Let's talk about it. Can we talk about it? Hi, would you mind talking about what's going on?
So the next 3 to 4 days, we're going to have lots of dialogue with the people that are at the park and with the Provincial Capital Commission. And we're going to get some legal advice from Crown and independent lawyers if we need it.
What's happening here?
Well, it's illegal to be in here with all the camping stuff set up, the tents and that. So
I think it was illegal to prevent people from survival.
Is that right?
Yeah, I believe that it's immoral and illegal to tell people that they can have nowhere to live.
Oh, okay.
We're here to be here past 11, and you all knew that, so it's midnight. I've given you lots of time, so on your feet and let's go.
Come on, up.
Your alternative is things like drums and boots and pack sacks will be seized, stored by the Provincial Capital Commission.
Come on, guys.
Okay? None of us want to have to do that. So.
Let's go.
Did you just kick him?
I just nudged him to wake him up, so let's get going.
Buddy?
I don't know.
Hey, pal, time to wake up. Are you okay? Time to wake up. Police are here. It's time to move on, okay? Thank you. Well, undream him.
I couldn't bring myself to do that.
On your feet, please. Okay.
Take away our rights.
Wake up. Wake up on your feet.
I'm sure if we don't have money doesn't mean we don't have rights.
On your feet, folks.
Let's go. We don't want you here. They don't want us anywhere.
They don't want us anywhere.
Any place we go, we get woken up and told to move along. Like I said, are we supposed to just collapse on the sidewalk and then get hauled away to some prison because we're sleeping?
We asked them what their plans were, especially with the weather supposed to set in tomorrow afternoon and Thursday, what their plans for getting in out of the weather were concerned. We offered to hook them up with the media, but they appear to be able to do that on their own if they had a message to get across. We asked them if there was any, we explained that we weren't a social agency, but there's plenty of social work goes on in police work, so we offered to attempt to help them with anything that we could reasonably do to resolve the situation.
At 11 p.m. they will be able to arrest anyone who is still on property.
We can't even be in the park?
Between 11 and 7 p.m. all land is
night
private.
Right.
You are not allowed to live. So, we believe that's in contravention of our basic human rights, because we need to sleep.
So, I can arrest them and put in a will say, or whoever's going to do the RCC can do it.
Bob, how are you?
I'm Jim Simpson with the Victoria Police Department. I'm going to ask you to remove the structure from around the tree based on the injunction that you guys were served with yesterday. And I'm just here to inform you that if you fail to do that, that you'll be placed under arrest for a breach of a court order. And I'm going to ask you now if you understand what I just said to you.
Sergeant, I understand what you've said to me, and as a matter of conscience, I can't vacate.
Okay.
I'm making a stand here, and we've been moved around enough, and I'm sticking around.
Okay, I understand that. Is there any point in me standing back for 5 minutes for you to exchange your mind, or is that going to be your position 5 minutes from now as well?
I guarantee that'll be my position, Sarge.
Okay, in that case, I'm placing you under arrest for breach of a Supreme Court order. You don't have to say anything to me with respect to that, and anything you do say can be noted down and used as evidence against you. Do you understand all that stuff?
I understand.
You want to just stand up for a sec? Of course. Back.
Well, as a homeless person, I'm getting offered a bed. Yeah. Take care.
Love you, Billy Bob.
Love you, Billy.
How did it feel? You lost your humanity.
Jumped out for us.
Why are you getting arrested, Pretty?
Because I didn't like my desk. Like accommodations. You think you're pretty pockets? No, I sure don't. Oh, wait, hold on. I've got my Swiss Army knife over there.
That's not fair. All we want is a park. All we want is a place that's already built. You guys don't have to pay for it. It's already built. We have a right to log somewhere. You're gonna arrest him because we're putting our foot down and being heard? That's my street brother, man. You guys take away our family. Our families have already been taken away. Our rights are now being taken away.
If somebody like myself went to the shelters and they were full of, how could I continue to be a law-abiding citizen for the union? Like, if I can't find a place to sleep, you know?
Well, clearly...
What steps could I take to uphold the law as a citizen and still sleep?
Yeah, I mean, you're getting down to the essential dilemma. I guess you can't sleep on private property is one of the answers.
But what can I do, though?
Well,
To just not break the law for the night, you know? Just to...
I guess try to find a place to stay where you're not on private property where the people will object.
They aren't on private property right now. If they can't sleep on any private property, they come to their government building. It's the most public land there is.
Yeah, you're quite correct. It's public property. It's open during the day. It's not open between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m.
I don't have tears because of fear of being arrested. I don't have tears because of pressure that's put on me. It's after 11 years of having to do that exact same thing, man. Having to pack up your home. How would you like to pack up your house every day and be told you have to move?
You've been dealing with this for a long time.
A long time.
How do you feel about all the attention that's being given about it right now?
About it now? It's about bleeping time. 11 years, man. 11 years I've been on the street. Some people about 20, 30 years. Some people have been on the street 20, 30 years. And they still can't think to assign a park to set up a camp. They say that we're a problem. The government is the problem with their lack of imagination.
Did you feel bad when you made her take down this fence?
The injunction said she had to, so.
Yeah, but I asked if you felt bad watching her pack up her little belongings.
You know, we all have compassion and understanding for the situation, and we do. Like Jim said to her, we get it.
But now you've got another problem across the street. It's actually on City of Victoria property.
Well, that's a problem. The city's going to have to come down here and decide what they want to do about it, and if they don't like it, they'll have to call the police.
Okay.
And here we go.
Here we go again.
I said that you never want to be this way. And I said it could never happen to me, but it did anyway. I said that you never want to be this way. And I said it could never happen to me, but it did anyway.
What's going on, Mike?
We just had horses go by.
Yeah, but is this some kind of bizarre Disneyland or something?
Oh, this is Tent City, Victoria, BC.
Simon! What kind of soup's on tonight?
Well, actually, there's a squash base, so I boiled squash.
Really?
And then mashed it up and used a vegan soup stock.
Yeah.
And then we added an onion. We added about 3 more squash. A couple of zucchini, some chickpeas.
Last night we had 50, count them, 50 happy campers. That's 26 tents, 50 campers.
And there's always more and more that show up. A couple of people showed up last night.
Cool. We need to start looking
What
at
else do you guys need? What else can people do if they want to help you?
More tarps.
More tarps?
Tarps. We'll make some lenses out of
Tarps, sleeping bags, tents.
friends from
We need as many
Australia.
people on our side as possible,
Oh,
voicing
absolutely.
their opinions.
Absolutely. Well, I'm on the Downtown Advisory Committee. I'm vice chair of it with the City of Victoria, and I got to tell you, once again, we know it should be moved on, particularly this time of year until we've got a roof over your head.
Hey, 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 Sabanda, Sabanda, Kiki, aha, aha, Kiki, Sabanda, aha, aha, Kiki, Sabanda.
I'm now in charge of this location, and so I'm letting you know that if the tents remain here, they'll be seized, and they'll be seized. They can be seized in 2 ways. They can be either seized as chattel, or we could seize them to prevent the continuation of the offense. Criminal Code of Canada, just because we arrest you doesn't necessarily mean we need to charge you, right? We don't need to charge you. We can still arrest you.
Okay, on Friday per se, it's going to happen, and I do get arrested because I refuse to move. And my chattel's taken with me and I'm arrested.
Yeah.
Is this going to be another glitch on my very small criminal record?
Well, if you're convicted, it goes on to your criminal record.
Would I be convicted?
I don't know. That's up to
For
the
what?
courts. Disobstruction, disobeying a court order.
What if we go to how this was before this all started, and we
It's
all
too
go
late.
back to sleeping in bushes in the parks, like many of us, and in fact me particularly, were doing? When a police finds us, are they going to immediately charge us then?
That's going to be up to discretion to let an officer to decide. But what you need to know is that if you move as a camp, as a group to another location, we are going to enforce.
And if we split up, you'll leave us be?
We're going to have to make that call as it comes down the pipe.
I was in the camp that morning, and we had a group circle, and everyone was informed that we were going to be. There's like a temperature raise here. They were going to have an injunction. They wanted to have an injunction to have everybody moved off the property.
It is taking too much time, too much effort, and money on everybody. I'm the duty officer today, and there's an
Sir?
emergency situation with
Okay.
a bank robber. So just let me make one more call, and then you got my undivided attention.
Wait, after the bank robber.
After the bank robber. People seem to rob banks while the police are here.
Yeah, they do.
They kind of listen to the
This is the
scanners and go,
third
okay, all the
bank
cops are down
robbery
there now, let's go.
Are you serious?
I would say that it takes up a ton of resources. Like it's disrupted today, basically. We had all kinds of other stuff going on. So it can be, and we want to make sure that we do things properly.
You're welcome. So the other thing too, guys, just to be aware, like I mentioned last time I was here, we will be enforcing. If you move to another location, we'll be enforcing under the bylaw immediately. So we're not going to go through the injunction process again. So just so everybody's clear that if you move as a group to another location, we'll be enforcing immediately.
Understood.
Okay.
This morning, they're going to come. You're not planning to move here, are you?
No, I would imagine, all things progressing as they will, that I'll get arrested and maybe not be the only one, and happily sign a condition saying I won't return to Cridge Park until the trial, unless they want to convict and sentence me right there.
What do you think about the group that's assembled here? Like, this is quite
pretty good. It's
pretty good.
It's because it's not a protest. It's just people living.
Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Da-da-dum, da-dum.
So there you have it, folks. They're going to put the fire out for us. They're going to take our chairs away for us. They're going to throw them in garbage for us. Oh, I certainly. And just remember, there ain't no sanity clause.
I don't think they should go. I don't think they should let themselves be pushed around like this.
But they have to leave or they're going to go to jail.
Okay, so what do we do? At one time we fought for this country. So what? What did their forefathers fight for? What did they die for? So we could turn into a bunch of wimps now? That could just get, they come along and what are the police? The police are servants. Like, where are the politicians? Like, where are they saying, like, let them answer to and act responsibly, and you can't penalize the people just because they have no economic status.
I can look around me and point out many people who do not have a place to go. Okay? I have nowhere to live.
How do people feel about this injunction being served?
Insulted, angry, and alienated.
Unfortunately, it has to end. And I never say goodbye because we'll always see each other again. Even if we don't see each other in this life, we'll see each other.
There's no word for goodbye in our life.
Exactly. And if we don't see each other in this life, we'll see each other in the great hereafter.
I'm always with the camera, but I'm not here with the camera because
No, that's cool.
I know what's going on.
I enjoy, if I have to, making the point of, it's like this is happening with or without the media, essentially.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And the police are already here. So.
All right. I figured that they're casing the scene. Yeah.
They might wait and see, and I'll wait and see too.
Cool.
I'm glad you're looking so healthy. You're an inspiration to me.
Oh gosh.
Will you return to St. Anne's?
No, no. At least not until the charter thing happens.
What's changed your mind on that?
Well, I didn't want to die in jail. And also I really like the idea of the Supreme Court telling the city of Victoria that it's not allowed to arrest people for sleeping outside anymore. So I'll practice, well, the patience that I preach so much.
Do you realize how much support you have?
I was really in shock with the number of people that were there. Yeah.
So what's the first thing you're going to do now?
Oh gosh. Maybe have some juice if I can find some.
Have you eaten anything in the last 35 days?
36 days.
36?
No, just water and chlorine.
So still nothing?
No. I have a little bit of discipline, and I know that the Crown is a monster. And so it's like it wouldn't matter if I was arrested for anything, I still wouldn't be in jail. So that's the fasting might almost be a separate thing from the right to sleep issue.
Are you pleased that people are standing up and supporting you, and also like some people were arrested last night, for example, at St. Anne's as part of that?
I heard about that. Good. It's all about raising awareness. It's all about yeah. Stand up for what you think is right.
Do you think the rest of the city of Victoria is ready to hear your message?
It doesn't matter if they're ready or not.
Do you think they'll accept it? Or do you think they'll want to still see people jailed for sleeping in parks?
There is a contingent of people who still think that spite is an acceptable means. But there is a growing population of people who are germinating seeds in their backyards and preparing for a global revolution.
So you think you can tell heaven from hell, the sky's from me. Can you tell again from the coast to the rail, a smile from a veil? So you think you can get you to dream. You're a hero.